guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another deep down unboxing look review, if you like. And today we're looking at the new album by Neil Hannon and the Divine Comedy called Rainy Sunday Afternoon. Runny. What am I like? Good start to the video, Geoff. So this is the new album that came out this week from Neil Hannon and his Divine Comedy. Now, if you don't know what the Divine Comedy are, what they're like, they're an Irish band, and they are a very clever, intelligent kind of lyrical kind of band, and a lot of their songs are quite funny in places, and a lot of them are very sort of observational kind of lyrics. There's one of his songs on his other albums when he talks about in the 1980s, whatever, going to like a nightclub and listening to all the bands, and it mentions Joy Division, The Cure, and all this, the Smiths, and it mentions all these sort of bands that are playing in the alternative sort of disco, and that's in one of the albums. So it's got clever sort of lyrics. Who are they like? I could say if you like Duke Special, they're a lot like that. If you like Jarvis, Cocker and Pulp, that sort of thing, the sound's different, but the lyrical sort of content is sort of the same sort of clever kind of lyrical content. So that's what the Divine Comedy like. So let's not waste time. Let's get a top-down look and have a deep-down look at this new album by the Divine Comedy, and let's have a look at some of their other releases I have as well. So here we are, guys. Here is the new release. So have a little bit closer look at this one. Sunny Sunday Afternoon, Divine Comedy, limited 2 CD edition with bonus CD, live in Paris and London. Let me grab me glasses. So we're going to open this up as much as we can. Obviously I'm going to try my best to preserve this sticker. As you know, I always do try to save these. Give me a second, guys. Difficult to do that on camera. So see if the sticker will come off. Sometimes they come off easily, sometimes you have to sort of mess about with them. I should really do all this off camera, but hey ho, wouldn't be me. So I've got the sticker off. Let's just have a look to see if there's any. Yeah, let's stick it on the inside of the cover here rather than the outside artwork. There we go. So we preserved the sticker there. So yeah, this is the new album. Has a picture of Neil Hannon on the front. As I've told you before, he's a great songwriter. He's very clever, very witty, and he's very cool. Let's have a look at the track listing of the new album. Haven't looked at this yet. So Achilles, The Last Time I Saw the Old Man, The Man Who Turned Into a Chair, I Want You, Rainy Sunday Afternoon, or The Pretty Lights, Down the Rabbit Hole, Mar-a-Lago by the Sea, The Heart is a Lonely Hunter, Can't Let Go, and Invisible Thread. And it's got the Divine Comedy Records Limited there. So I'm wondering if they've actually got their own company now, because they used to be on can't remember what company they used to be on. Or in fact, they probably thinking about it, they might have actually just been on their own. They've always been like an independent thing. So we open up there. It's got a lovely picture of Neil. It resembles one of their other albums, Absent Friends. We'll have a look at that shortly and you'll see what I mean. But it's a great photo. I do like Neil's sort of image. It's very very classy, and it's very sort of like sort of Noel Coward sort of thing. So here's the booklet that comes with it. So let's have a look at that. I like that picture too. Very cool. In fact, that would have been even better than the front cover. But there we go. So we have the lyrics for the songs in the booklet, which is really cool. Great stuff. and the album actually comes in its own little inner sleeve, which I always love. I think that little detail is a great touch of detail. Another great picture there. I'm hoping to find out where these photos were taken. It's really, really cool. Let's have a little look at some of the information on the album. Written, arranged and produced by Neil Hannon. Recorded by Tom Bailey. I don't think that's Tom Bailey of the Thompson Twins, but who knows. And it was recorded at Abbey Road Studio in London, so the Beatles studio. And it's got a list of the musicians performing on his album here, and the strings and the singers, orchestral arrangements. So cool. I think this one might resemble Absent Friends. I hope so, because that's probably one of my favourite albums of Divine Comedy. Willow Hannon on guest vocals. I don't know if that's his wife or his daughter. So that's really, really cool. Lovely disc. Really pretty, really nice. So DCR is Divine Comedy Records. So that's what comes in the first segment here, is the booklet and the first album. And in here will be the extra album, Divine Comedy live in Paris and London. Another great picture there. Neil looking exhausted in the corner of some seedy nightclub. The track listing on this is A Desperate Man, Neapolitan Girl, Freedom Road, Count Grassi's Passage Over Piedmont, Note to Self, The Wreck of the Beautiful, The Lost of Art of Conversation, Someone, Life on Earth, 10 Seconds to Midnight, Middle Class Heroes, In Pursuit of Happiness, and Love What You Do. So that's the tracks there from the live there, taken from the Venus, Cupid, Foley and Time 30 years of the Divine Comedy celebration shows. So they did a tour. They released a best of, which I didn't buy because I've got the tracks on it, so I didn't buy it. And we got a list of who performed at the shows, and it was recorded at the Barbican in London and the Cité de la Musique in Paris. And again, all songs written by Neil Hannon, and it's mastered at Abbey Road Studio. So it's going to be a quality release. Really, really cool. And that is the new album from the Divine Comedy. But we won't leave it there. We'll have a little look at some of the other Divine Comedy stuff I have. Like I said, they had a best of release, but I didn't buy it because they released one a few years back, and I have a copy of that, which is called A Secret History. And so this was a lovely box set, 2-disc box set with like a booklet. So it was covering the first sort of albums, and you had a disc of rarities at the back with sort of like loads of photographs of Neil. Neil is pretty much the Divine Comedy. His lineup has changed throughout the years. He's always kept his songs, his albums, they sound a lot different from one another, really. That's what I love about them. His vocal style is very sort of, if you think of sort of torch singers, if you think of Nina Simone or Mark Almond, or if you think of Scott Walker, his voice is very similar to Scott Walker, has that sort of deep, sort of very pronounced lyrics, and very hits the notes every time. Fantastic singer, fantastic live, really, really cool. I in fact did go to, I've seen them live a number of times. Unfortunately, I don't think I've got any. Yeah, I've got one CD of them live that I was at, but I do have a DVD of theirs live called Live at the Palladium, which I was at London Palladium. This was on the Absent Friends tour, so I do have that, which is really, really cool. It's a great live concert, which comes with this little booklet with it. Really cool, really nice. The track listing of the concert was Absent Friends, In Pursuit of Happiness, Becoming More Like Alfie, Sticks and Stones, Leaving Today, good. Come Home, Billy Bird. The Certainty of Chance. When the Lights Go Out All Over Europe. No One Knows. National Express. Generation Sex. Songs of Love. The Happy Goth. Our Mutual Friend. Three Sisters. Charmed Life. Tonight We Fly. Something for the Weekend, and Sunrise. And it has a documentary in the extra features about the concerts and stuff. So that's really important to me, this DVD, because it's one I've only seen them 5 times. Once in Cambridge, once at the Somerset House, which I have a CD of, and a couple of times in London. But I was lucky when I went to the Cambridge show. I was lucky to catch up with Neil, and I met him for the first time, and he was really lovely, and he signed one of my CDs for me there, which is the Live at the Somerset House. It says, "Hi Joff, thanks for all your support, all the best, Neil." So that's really cool. Got that signed by Neil himself at the venue, which was, I can't remember the name of the venue now. Junction. So I just got a little mark on it to see if I can get that off. I don't like getting marks on my CD. That's another reason why I prefer the dual cases, because they don't tend to get as many marks on it. But this is a double live CD from that show. It says Divine Comedy, but it was just him and the piano and guitar. Really cool set, great recording, and it was a great day out. That was during the day at Somerset House, which is an outdoor venue. Really lovely venue. And yeah, so that was really cool. So I took that along, I thought, just in case, and I went along to Cambridge, and I was bimbling around outside, and now I saw him. He popped out for probably a smoke or something, and I said, "Neil," and he said, and he come over and he goes, "Hello," and I said, "Hey mate, how you doing? Looking forward to the show tonight, you know. Could you possibly sign a CD for me?" And he did. Fortunately, my phone had died, so I couldn't grab a photograph with him, which would have been even cooler. But there we go. I have that signed from the tour on Bang Goes the Neighbourhood tour, the Knighthood. Sorry, Bang Goes the Knighthood tour. So they are sort of like 2 of my real sentimental releases of Divine Comedy, probably because I was at both shows, and that one has been signed by Neil. So let's have a look at Divine Comedy's albums that I have. Now, I'm not a completist, guys. I'm not a completist, but this is all the albums I have. I do have another album, a Noel Coward tribute album, but Divine Comedy performed one song on there called I've Been to a Marvellous Party. But that's over there. But anyway, these are their albums. Liberation. These are all the sort of remastered versions of them with the bonus discs. So let's move these out of the way. So the tracks on Liberation is Festive Road, which is about a children's TV show called Mr. Ben, because he used to live on there. Great track. Death of a Supernaturalist, Bernice Bobs Her Hair, I Was Born Yesterday, Your Daddy's Car, Europop, Time Watching, The Pop Singer Fears the Pollen Count, Queen of the South, Victoria Falls, Three Sisters, Europe by Train, and Lucy. Great gatefold sleeve. Again, these are all really well produced. These are the extra tracks that are on there, which are pretty much demos and a few live tracks on there. And it's got a few home recordings that I can think but I can't feel, and stuff like that. So it does have a few sort of like unusual tracks on there. Untitled Melody, and some live tracks, which is really cool. Europop and things live, which is really nice. Here's the disc. So that is the album of bonus tracks. Put that in there, and this is the actual album sleeve itself, the inner sleeve of the album. Again, all songs written, arranged and performed by Neil Hannon, with obviously guest musicians. So Divine Comedy is actually one person. A bit, you know, it's cool. I love that sort of thing. So Liberation, great album. Promenade, very similar sort of cover. I think that's in Paris, isn't it? Behind him there. Again, the two CD disc. Contains the tracks Bath, Going Downhill Fast, The Book Lovers, A Seafood Song, Geronimo, Don't Look Now, When the Light Goes Out All Over Europe, The Summer House, great track that one, Neptune's Daughter, A Drinking Song, 10 Seconds to Fly, and Tonight We Fly. 10 Seconds to Midnight and Tonight We Fly. So another great image there from Neil, and here's the tracks of the bonus tracks. Again, it has alternative versions, some home recordings, some demos, some instrumentals, a couple of live tracks on there as well, which is really, really cool. I'm not going to go through the whole track listing of these special features, and of course you get the booklet, which has essays in it, and I think it's just like Neil talking about him when he recorded this album when he was 23 years old. And we have the actual album here itself. So that's really lovely. So yeah, Promenade. I haven't got these in any specific order, so I can't remember which was the first album, but these were the first two albums of the Divine Comedy. Really cool. Then they sort of like hit a little bit of big time with this album, Casanova, which was their next big release. Was their big release really. It sort of brought them into the forefront, I think. Yeah, really cool album. The tracks on this album is Something for the Weekend, Becoming More Like Alfie, Middle Class Heroes, In and Out of Paris and London, Charge, Songs of Love, The Frog Princess, A Woman of the World, Through a Long and Sleepless Night, Theme from Casanova, and The Dogs and the Horses. Now, also at this time on Channel 4 was a TV comedy show called Father Ted. And the theme tune from Father Ted is taken from Songs of Love, which is that. So Divine Comedy provide the music for Father Ted. And this is the bonus tracks that are on here, which is fantastic. It also includes on here My Lovely Horse, from Father Ted. If you've ever seen Father Ted, that's the song that Father Ted and Father Dougal Maguire pretended to use for their Song for Europe. So it's got My Lovely Horse on there, and it's also got Father Ted theme. So it's got an extract from the Songs of Love. So that's really, really cool. And it has other mixes, demos and live versions upon this disc too. Really, really cool. So yeah, at that time, they say the Father Ted series started, and this was sort of like used. They provided the music for Father Ted, and this is the Casanova album itself. Instruments. These are all the different musicians that perform on this album. That one's got a red rose on it. Really cool. Great album. They're all fantastic albums. And he sings songs about love. So in the next album, aptly, there was a short album about love, which is another great album. That's probably one of my favourite covers, I think, of theirs. It's just really fantastic. This one is In Pursuit of Happiness, Everybody Knows Except You, Someone, If I Were You, I'd Be Through With Me, Time Watching, I'm All You Need is the tracks on this album. It's got a picture there of Neil live there. This does contain a live DVD. So this is the CD with some bonus tracks. It has bonus live materials on there, which were on the singles. And it's also got a cover version of the Walker Brothers track, Make It Easy on Yourself, live. So that they released 2 or 3 EPs from tracks on here with live songs, Johnny Mathis Feet and all these crazy songs. I can't remember who sings that. Some American indie band sang that song. But yeah, it's got a lot of bonus tracks on there, and of course it's got a booklet. And in the other disc is the live CD, DVD, sorry. So it's got these lives, got In Pursuit of Happiness, Everybody Knows Someone, Time Watching, If I Were You, I'm All You Need, A Drinking Song, Something for the Weekend, and The Dogs and the Horses. And that's recorded live. I'm not sure where. I think it's at the Palladium. I can't remember. There's the disc for it. The DVD. It doesn't tell you on here where it was recorded, but it might do in the book. Okay, filmed at Shepherd's Bush Empire. I wasn't at that show, sadly. So there we go. I think it was almost like a premiere of the new album, and it's being recorded especially for this release. But there we are. A short album and a short film about love. Fin de Seli next, which was again another really popular album of Divine Comedy. This one has the tracks Generation 6, Thrill Seeker, Commuter Love, Sweden, Eric the Gardener, National Express, probably their biggest hit, Life on Earth, The Certainty of Chance, which is probably my favourite song on the album, Here Comes the Flood, and Sunrise. Again, another great photo of Neil, and there's all the bonus tracks on here. We got songs like Gin Soaked Boy, and songs that they were performing at this time but weren't on the album. It starts with I've Been to a Marvellous Party, which is the Noel Coward song, which I told you I have on that Noel Coward tribute album, which is fantastic, by the way. It has people like Divine Comedy, Brian Ferry, some other great artists on there. Really cool. So we have the album itself, and it also comes with a booklet. Really cool. Put that in there. Next is probably my favourite Divine Comedy album, and that's Absent Friends. Now you know what I mean when I said that the artwork on the new cover, it's kind of similar. It's on the chaise lounge there, but it looks quite similar. But yeah, a great album, this one, Absent Friends. Really orchestral, and really has a real strong sort of Walker brother, Scott Walker sound to the album, which I love. The tracks on it are Absent Friends, Sticks and Stones, Leaving Today, Come Home Billy Bird, My Imaginary Friend, The Wreck of the Beautiful, Our Mutual Friend, The Happy Goth, Freedom Road, Lakers Theme, and Charm to Life. Not a bad track on this album. Fantastic photograph there. That's not Neil's house. I wouldn't have thought that was Neil's house. This is the bonus disc, where we have obviously we've got B-sides and home recordings and things like that on here. Instrumental versions, demos, alternative mixes. No live tracks on this one, but it's really cool. It's all songs associated with this album. And here we have the booklet. Again, fantastic artwork, and another essay in there from Neil himself. And that's Absent Friends, written and recorded 2001 to 2003. They've been going for a lot of years, guys. You know, I believe they started up in the 80s, Divine Comedy, and they're still going today. Next one up I've got is Bang Goes the Knighthood. This one is in a jewel case. These all came out remastered. I think this one got a remastered edition, but I didn't buy it because the sound quality on this is the same sound quality as these, so I didn't feel the need to. This is the limited edition though. It includes a bonus live concert CD. So on this one we have Down in the Street Below, The Complete Banker, Neapolitan Girl, Bang Goes the Knighthood, In the Indie Disco, that's the song that I was telling you about. Have you ever been in love? Assume the Prodigator, The Lost Act of Conversation, Island Life, When a Man Gives, Can You Stand Upon a Leg, and I Like. And on the live disc we have Amsterdam, L'amour est bleu, in French, mostly in French. I can't pronounce them. There is the Song That We Sing, and the rest are all written in French. So I don't know if it's actually performed in French. I haven't listened to the concert disc of this album. It may well have been, but yeah. So that's the bonus disc. I like the pipe image there. It reminds me of Graham Chapman of the of Monty Python. But yeah, great live shot there of Neil. Fantastic, great album, really witty, really world class album. If I do get a chance to pick it up on this format, I probably will. It'd be nice to have it just to uniform the lot. So I've got a couple more to show you here. This one here called Office Politics, limited edition, includes exclusive bonus disc, Swallows and Amazons. So on this album we have Q Jumper, Office Politics, Norman and Norma, Absolute Obsolete, Infernal Machines, You Never Work in This Town Again, Psychological Evaluation, The Synthesizer Service Centre Super Summer Sale, The Life and Soul of the Party, A Feather in Your Cap, I Am Stranger Here, Dark Days Are Here Again, Philip and Steve's Furniture Removal Company, Opportunity Knocks, After the Lord Mayor's Show, and When the Working Day Is Done. So there's a lot of tracks on this album. And there we are at the office party, listening to the Human League there. Steely Dan down there too. Cool cover, really like it. So this must be our, I don't know if it's our bonus disc, doesn't say on there. This is the bonus disc, which is piano demos. On here you have Whistle for the Wind, The Swallow, The Conquering Heroes, Fighting Swallows, The Amazon Pirates, The Parley, The People Drowned in Duffers, Let's Make the Best of This, Navy Stroke, Like Robinson Crusoe, Titty Dreams, Conquering Heroes Victory Chorus, The Black Spot, The Parley, Flint's Apology, Swallows and Amazons Forever. I haven't even opened this, guys. It's still sealed, and I must open it. And we have like a lyric book with all the lyrics from the album, which is really cool. That's what I like about Divine Comedy. When they release albums, they release a standard version, which will be your £10, £11, and then they'll release a £14 to £15 version, but with a whole album of extra material. So how cool is that? So that's that one. Foreverland next, deluxe edition, featuring Catherine the Great and How Can We Leave on My Own, plus a bonus disc in May. So the tracks on this album are Napoleon Complex, Foreverland, Catherine the Great, Funny Peculiar, The Pact, To the Rescue, How Can You Leave Me on My Own, I Joined the Foreign Legion, To Forget, My Happy Place, A Desperate Man, Other People, and The Ones Who Love Me. Some great artwork there. Really cool. So in here we have Foreverland, the album, and we have the booklet. Again, great artwork inside, really well produced. Neil has, I think, put so much work into his albums, which is fantastic. So this is in May, and I have listened to this, and they're all based on dates, as you can see. It starts from the 6th of December down to the 31st of May. And it's actually really, really cool. It's neat. It's Neil singing with like a sort of quartet, like a violin, celloist, a double bass, and a pianist. It's a really cool little album, and it's like a whole album on its own. It's weird it never got released on its own, but it's really cool. But it is free with this album. And last but not least, I have one called Loose Cannon. Neil very adamant dress there, but I believe this is the live album, live in Europe from 2016 to 2017. That was the tour that I met him on, that he signed that for me. The track listing on this is How Can You Leave Me Now I'm On My Own, Napoleon Complex, Catherine the Great, Bad Ambassador, To the Rescue, Complete Banker, Bang Goes the Knighthood, Generation 6, Our Mutual Friend, Funny Peculiar, A Lady of Certain Age, At the Indie Disco, I Like, National Express, Assume the Perpendicular, a Drinking Song, and Tonight We Fly. And that is that release. So that is all the albums that I actually own by the Divine Comedy. So like I said to you before, I'm not a completist or anything like that, but I'm really happy with my little collection, which has now been added to, but this week by Rainy Sunday Afternoon. So there we are, guys. There's a deeper look at the Divine Comedy's new album, Rainy Sunday Afternoon, which is absolutely wonderful. It's great artwork. Looks really, really cool. And then we had a quick look at some of my back catalogue of Divine Comedy. Well, in fact, that's all my Divine Comedy. There is a couple other sort of albums available by them and a box set. But the box set pretty much contains all the albums I have. But it looks really lovely, but it's really, it's a holy grail. It's extremely expensive to pick up. And the other album they got out, I think they got like a sort of like a best of that I don't own, but I don't tend to buy best ofs. I checked them out. Now I bought the other one because it's got the rarities, which was really cool. But when Neil released all the remasters that you saw there, all the rarities on that disc are pretty much on some of those extra discs there, which is really cool. And I hope you've learned something about Divine Comedy, especially if you're a Father Ted fan, knowing that they've actually recorded the theme tune for it and that they performed the song My Lovely Horse. And whenever Neil tours and he does some of these songs like The Dogs and the Horses, people always have on like sticks cutouts of that horse. If you've seen Father Ted when they're having that dream and you see that horse, they come with the on sticks like cutouts of them, and it's so funny because everybody loves to see them do that track, My Lovely Horse. Now I went to David's bookshop in Letchworth because Neil was there on the release of one of his albums and he performed there. He did a few tracks and he did My Lovely Horse there, and I think he performed it at the Somerset House. I don't think I've ever seen the band perform it fully, only Neil when he's on his own doing the pianist thing, but that's really cool. Anyway guys, thanks for coming in. Stay tuned for some more music videos.